Hi folks, we're back with 3D Politics. We're going to move on now with David Dambroso. David, what have you got for us?
Well, has anyone heard about this investigation into Russian collusion?
I've heard about it.
Has anyone heard about
It's
this?
terrible.
I was very concerned. I heard that Hillary Clinton got $142 million from Russia.
It's a lot.
You know, in order to give them 20% of our uranium. And so
yes.
I'm very pleased that there's been a 2-year investigation conducted into the Trump family about this matter. So
Because he donated to her at one point. Yeah, so
that's true.
Maybe that's how he colluded.
That is proof of his collusion.
Was it to her for her Senate campaign?
Hillary can't help
I
it.
don't actually know.
Does that
I
make
can't
her a
fact check me on
proxy
that.
for Russia? I mean, so I guess he probably is maybe guilty of some kind of Russian collusion if he's ever had any dealings with Hillary Clinton.
Hillary, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, my question is, when are we going to exact a punishment on this abuse of our law for a clearly political attempt to take down the president?
My opinion is, and I hope I'm wrong about this, I'm pretty cynical of a person, so I'm very pleased whenever I'm wrong, but I almost feel like the Republicans, at least of yesteryear, I hope this is not the case of this current Congress, but they're either complicit with the actions of the left or they're just too incompetent to oppose them in any way. And I mean, if there are massive arrests and investigations after this, I will be very upset. And I'd say it's time to figure something else out.
Okay,
other than
whose
supporting
job
Hillary.
is it to take the initiative and start on this? Barr, a new AG? I guess it starts with him.
I mean, I guess, you've got this congressional subpoena power. That's a good start. I guess Barr could launch some investigations.
Congressional subpoena power. You mean Congress? You're expecting Pelosi to take charge here?
Well, I mean, it might be nice if some Republicans subpoena some folks.
The
right?
people have to rise up to their representatives, make the call, write the letter, put the pressure from the bottom up to where it finally gets
Well, I
a
also
note.
think that there's some state charges that should be brought and can be brought because although these were done for federal officers, they were done in the various states, and I think that there are all sorts of charges that could perhaps come from states.
It seems like some information was illegally obtained. There were no wiretaps, and there were wiretaps, and of course we've got Strzok and Page reporting directly to Obama on this matter. So we've got known trumped-up charges. We've got a questionable dossier, which seems to, now I'm not a Democrat, so I won't make an emphatic statement without knowing it to be so. Seems like McCain had something to do with it and Hillary Clinton paid for the Steele dossier. This seems to be the information we have, so we just don't know, and I think we need to have at least a 700-day investigation into everyone who's ever spoken to Hillary Clinton, Lisa Page, Peter Strzok, Comey, McCabe, Mueller, etc. I mean, is that insane? What do we think about that?
Yeah.
700 days.
One of the you said in previous episodes that the politicians are cowards, and if they are cowards, then the only thing that they're going to move on is fear. And so they have to fear the electorate more than they fear whatever choices they're going to make to correct the situation.
We're creating a political will for this action. As soon as you raise the alarm on social media and to your friends and family, you get a little bit upset about it, and then you create some kind of path to action, it'll catch fire.
Yeah, I think Oldham's onto something here. If you got a good state attorney general who says, you know what, some of this took place in our domain, and by God, we're going to step up, I think that could literally shame the Justice Department into acting.
Well, the governors get together on a regular basis.
Yes.
What about the state attorney generals getting together in the different states
They also
that are... So there's...
well, they get together, but they don't have constitutional authority as an organization.
No, but they could build their networking and similar states with similar attitudes.
And they
to
do.
push in that
They
direction.
do. Attorney generals of the different states do work together.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I'm just curious, what specific action would Hunter take here in the state of Oklahoma?
Well, it would have to be something that took place here or involved our assets.
Well, it could. I don't know what the statutes are, the federal statutes or even ours. But you got to stop and think about all of the criminal activity has affected Oklahomans, and therefore, if our attorney general doesn't step up for our rights that are being disenfranchised, for our tax money that's been gone to the wrong places and this, that, and the other thing, then there is something wrong with our Attorney General. Now the question is there something that he can do?
An illegal action to remove our duly, our legally elected president.
Yeah, well, case in point, when the attempt was made to assign Bill Clinton in this relationship with Monica Lewinsky, Linda Tripp was involved. She had recorded some things. Some people who didn't like that decided they were going to make a move, and I believe it was Maryland's Attorney General considered charging Linda Tripp with wiretapping.
Yeah, except they were a one-party state, so that didn't...
Okay, I know something on that, but see, the left is not ashamed and not afraid to do these things.
What are the laws on tapping the President of the United States without his knowledge, I wonder?
Yeah.
No different than anybody else.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't be, but...
I wonder what those laws are in the District of Columbia, though. I wonder if that's single party.
I mean, when somebody on the right says, hey, let's do nullification here of federal law, they get called a nut job.
Right.
But California's doing it right now.
That's the problem. We care about process and propriety. The left just doesn't.
Well, no, nullification is process and propriety.
I know.
It's about doing it on the right things. California is doing it unconstitutionally. We need to do
Firearms,
it for anything that's constitutional.
immigrants.
Yes, when they go around wanting to confiscate guns, when they go around creating unconstitutional laws, when they go around becoming a the immigrants,
The illegals.
the illegals,
Sanctuary
state. When they become that,
What would happen if we did that for
illegal,
guns?
unconstitutional nullification.
What if Tulsa became a sanctuary city for automatic rifles? How do you think that would go over?
Yeah. Well, here's my thing. The final point on this is what David was talking about in our first segment about you can regulate, you can't prohibit. Remember, that's what Supreme Court's telling us on Roe versus Wade. The Webster case in Missouri, they said, okay, we'll allow that regulation, but it can't be any more restrictive than that, or it becomes prohibition, and therefore you're denying somebody a constitutional right. Let's flip it around. That same thing applies on other issues. If it's a right, you can't prohibit it. You may be able to regulate, depending on what
It only applies to the extent that it's applied by bureaucrats and politicians and the executive branch. So that's really the issue. It really is under the entire discretion of prosecutors, lawmakers, police.
Yes, and that's where getting the word out so that we can put the pressure on them is so important.
We'll come around with a whole nother episode sometime and talk just about state nullification of federal law at some point. I'm Tom McCay with all three Davids. We'll be back with 3D Politics right after this.